Hey everyone, Temporal here. Today we are going to be reviewing a Gold Sigma. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that definitely helps me out. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below. And in there you can see my rates, join the community, see what we're up to, make your voice heard on what you're looking for video-wise, all sorts of cool stuff. So here we go. Our off-tank partner is a hog. Okay. And we've got Echo Widow. Very poke heavy. Very poke heavy. You're going to have to double off angle a bit. Don't really like this. I don't think your team is ready to rotate through this. So I think you should have just left as soon as you realized, hey, there's stuff, they've got both sides, etc. But maybe you're going to hold this for your hog to hit a hook, etc. Maybe that was the plan? No. Yeah, we just want to poke this out. Like, we're looking at a Winston, and just to put this in perspective, I didn't really want you to break that choke as soon as I saw what your comp was, and as soon as you had any information on their comp. That's a Winston. Winston has no poke phase. Break his bubble. Literally just break his bubble. And you can break his bubble from here. And you're taking advantage of the fact that he has no poke phase, and he's now going to be useless for what, 12 seconds? By the time you break his bubble, he'll be useless for 8 seconds because he won't have his bubble. Useless is exaggerating a little bit, but this team is not. You have very good poke. You have a Widowmaker and an Echo and a Hog and a Mercy and you, Sigma, and they have a Winston, and that's all you know. You guys are great in the poke phase, and they have a liability in the poke phase. Let's take ourselves a poke phase. And again, I don't want you to push forward with your barrier for this. I don't want you to turn right to deal with the D.Va. If you did bait micro missiles, great. Hey, Zara, good to see you. You can just back out here and let her waste micro missiles. And you just keep poking at breaking this Winston shield and then start poking at the Winston. Preferably make him leap away. If he doesn't leap away, then you can push, etc. But you want to take advantage of the strong poke phase that your team has here for sure. Hey, Semitic. This is fine. Just back out and break the bubble again. You don't need to use your shield. I really just want you to break this Winston bubble. I really do. Nope, I don't want you pushing in this hard. Okay, so you had your poke phase. During your poke phase, your Widow took out someone and a Torb turret. So I remember she got effectively, you guys went +1. Then you guys lost someone, and now they've lost someone else. But before they lost someone else, you'd both lost one. You have the way closer respawns. They don't have a Mercy. Again, take it slow, take your poke phase, and then push in when you're up for that 6v5. Take advantage of the poke phase to navigate yourselves into a 6v5 or better situation, or at least a situation where they're down major cooldowns. Like, they don't have Winston bubble, their Winston is at half health, etc., and then we push. Yeah, Zero video. But anyway, we're up now. Fine.
Claiming the objective. Barrier in place.
Where does it hurt? My ultimate is charged.
Oh yeah, for sure. And they're still squishy if your DPS are trying to break it. So again, you still have a much better DPS or a much better poke phase than them, and you know it. Like, you're running Hog Sigma, they're running Winston D.Va. Winston's okay in the poke phase, but as a total, you guys are much better. And you have that Widow Echo, whereas they're running Torb McCree. The Torb McCree is okay poke, but again, you guys are better. And they've got Lucio Moira. Moira isn't great in the poke phase at all because she's in this situation of, wait, the longer the poke phase goes on, the more healing I have to do, the more I run out of this resource and don't have great chances to regen it, etc. She regens her resource better during the brawl phase. She wants shorter fights where she overwhelms people. This is a team that is much, much worse than you in the poke phase, so you want to extend the poke phase until you see a window where you are pretty darn darn confident that your team can just win because you're up enough resources. Maybe their Moira's spent too much. Maybe, 2 or 3 people on their team are half. Maybe they've spent a lot of big cooldowns. Like, hey, Torb already used his cooldown, Moira already used Fade, Winston doesn't have bubble. Okay, let's go ahead and push, etc. You could go take the edge, like it would be totally fine. It'd be better if your Hog did this, but you could go over here and be playing this angle and be perfectly safe getting out. Again, better if your Hog does it in this situation, but you can do it since he's not. Just leave. Just recover your barrier and leave. So we want to deal with the threats behind us. We don't want to push forward into new threats. You can deploy your barrier over here and go, barrier, please do what you can, etc. Though it's not great. Or you can shift to this direction if you want to try to reduce incoming damage. But you want to, if you're firing, you're mostly going to want that to be back in the Winston. You can go, hey, I'm going to try and check these guys, but you don't want to push these guys right now. You can go, I'm going to try and check them while my team deals with the Winston. But again, you want to do that very safely. You want to be a fence that struggles to let them in, that they have a tough time getting in. You don't want to aggressively push into them right now. You want to let your team deal with the single diver, flanker, etc. that is in their back line. You don't want to go get yourself in a new fight. Go push into their concave.
Payload in motion stays.
Yeah, okay. I think you asked a question, then I think I answered it. Yeah, so you can block the forward threat, but you want to be hard to push into. You don't want to push in yourself. Yeah, we got it. A little bit. Okay. It's unfortunate. You know she's up there, though. Why are we shooting at the deflecting Genji instead of chunking down the D.Va? D.Va should already be half. You should have contributed. Good.
Heroes never die.
Well, they just popped Valk, so I'm perfectly happy to just push cart. Like, we don't... Oh, no, you guys just popped Valk. My bad. That was very early to pop out Valk, but hey, we'll live. I have, yes. I don't have a strong opinion on it. I just look at most skins and go, yeah, okay, it's a new skin. Some skins are cool, but I don't think very many skins are amazing. Some skins are pretty amazing, but... Yes, I know.
Barrier in place.
Tiger Bob, it's true. Unfortunate. Just kind of messy. Ooh, good a limb, but I still think you leave.
Condition restored.
Back out further, yep. Fair. So I like that you're checking on your team, but I'd like faster checks because you're not in a totally safe space here. Like, honestly, I'd have preferred you back up to here. Like, if they tried to push up as 6 and they have a Lucio that amped speed and they ran at you, you wouldn't necessarily have gotten out. I would have preferred you back out and then you fight your way back in with your team.
I could use some assistance.
I don't really like that, but okay.
Observe the barrier.
Adjusting angle of attack.
This is a little tough just based on the comp you have. It's going to be tough for you guys to push into here. You're probably going to want to try to rotate one of you to top of hotel. But if they'll give you a poke phase, you can do okay. They just shouldn't be giving you a poke face, and now you've got Moira, so it's over. Can they ult back in? No, they literally can't even ult back in. You just win. You don't need this. You don't even need one of these ults, and you guys just popped 3. It makes me sad. So you did want to take control of your team and tell your team to push a little more aggressively when that Moira was cleared, because you've got a 6v5, and you've got a 6v5 where their sustain is just non-existent. Like, it's a pretty big deal, but that's okay. We did this, then we use an ult when we shouldn't. Did you know that he didn't have flashbang? Let's look at this again, because surely that didn't just happen. So you use your ult and then those two do, so yours is a little more forgivable. Though shouldn't have happened. So there's a McCree right there. He doesn't have flash, but he has it in 2 seconds.
It cannot be stopped.
No. No. If he flashes you, your ult is over. You don't get your slam damage. We don't do this. We instead shoot at the McCree first. We take the McCree down first. That's what we do. Okay. I'm done. There we go.
I'd rather not.
Yes, a better McCree would have definitely canceled that ult.
Hello there.
I'd like you to push up and take the right side. I would very much like you to push up and take the right side. I can live with that. I know your hog isn't flanking, and you've picked that up by now that your hog isn't doing any sort of flanking, and you guys need to be sort of off-tank flank position-wise. So I would very much like you to rotate over here, and you cover this angle a little bit more, because your hog is just going to wander through here, etc. And that gives your team a little more influence. This is going to be a little dicey. You could have swung, like, over to here if you wanted. This is where I wanted you. I could have lived with swinging over to here. This is dicey. You don't really have a good way out. You haven't claimed this yet, and you wouldn't really be ready to hold this yet because your team isn't here yet. This is just a little wrong. Good. Beautiful. But now you leave. You can pummel the Moira on the way out, sure. Okay, but are you going to redeploy your bear to the right while you pummel this Reinhardt? Good. Okay. Yes, you can play from here. Perfect. You didn't actually need to push in there. I get why you did, but I'd have preferred you to keep that angle.
It's fracturing.
Pummel him in the back. Good. Again, I'd like you to push up right through where your Echo did. I can dream. Did your hog go down? No, he's just right here with you, standing right on top of your sight line. Okay. Generally not worth to try to catch a Blading Genji. It's a little hard, but that isn't my issue with it. A Nano Blading Genji, sure, go for it. A Blading Genji, I don't really like this to try to catch just a Blading Genji. A Blading Genji really isn't that dangerous in the grand scheme of things. He shouldn't get more than one elimination. He shouldn't necessarily even get one elimination. I would rather turn this offensively where you can, pretty guaranteed get an elimination on their McCree, for example. Yeah, trying to catch him, it's hard. It's like the risk-reward payoff ratio just isn't very good. For Nanoblade, the reward for catching him is bigger, so yeah, okay, I'll accept that. The risk is just as high of missing, but the reward for catching him is higher. I don't like the risk-reward ratio most of the time on going after just a regular Blading Genji, but I don't terribly like that your team is trying to hard commit to this in the first place. We have, our Nano, our Valk, and this going, and I just don't think you guys have enough. You're right on top of their spawn. We just did a video about being on top of the enemy spawn. It is hard when, you have people back here in spawn. So please don't pour all your ults into a fight that is going to be very, very hard to win. Just accept, hey, there's 2.5 minutes on the clock. We'll go take this with 2:20 left instead of 2:42 left. That helps, but you're still down one. Down two, in fact. Now you're down one. Just back out. Just back out. Don't even try to bail her out. Just back out. Nope. Now you're not going to be able to get out. So just because your team goes well and uses ults doesn't mean you have to. Sometimes playing into their silliness is the right answer, but I just don't think that was ever going to work. Now you've got a D.Va, okay. Again, breaking this corner is easier if it's more of a like, hey, I'm over here while my team is here type thing. It's easier if you take different angles to break this corner, but that's okay. And now they're going to empty their ult bank on you because you guys just emptied your ult bank in the previous fight. You have no answers. They win. Just try and get ult out of this. That's fine.
Let me get
It's playing again.
Yeah, go right. No, go right. They're down one. Just kite it for a second. And now you're going to flux from here. It's going to be beautiful. You're going to slam Z. Or you're going to shout into voice chat, fluxing.
What is that?
You're going to do this, and you're going to shoot at the McCree. Beautiful. Yeah, I too nickname my Lucio's McCree. There we go.
Heilstrahl aktiviert.
You can take him back. It's tough, but you can try to force it for a few seconds.
Unstable.
Okay. Good tire. That helped. Cool. Good stuff. So that's fine. The biggest things that we've seen so far are, even though when you have a D.Va or a Hog, you're more likely to be the anchor tank, quote unquote, you're more likely to have the more main angle and then the off angle. If they're not taking the off angle, you have to. If they're not taking the off angle, the privileged position, the power spot, etc., you need to go take it. You need to go, okay, clearly my Hog is going to go play with the team, so I'm going to go play on this high ground over here. I'm going to go play on this angle. Oh, my D.Va's going to play with the team. I'm going to go play in this other spot. That's going to help a lot. And then we need some better fluxes out of you. We had one good one there, but we had one where you walked right past, or you floated right past the McCree that could have canceled it, and another where you fluxed into a clearly losing fight. And the first time that you fluxed right past the McCree there, you also were fluxing into a fight that you could justify fluxing into, but honestly, you guys had already won, and you guys had pretty, maybe not convincingly already won, but you'd already won. Okay. So we want to work on your fluxes, and we want to make sure you understand that if your off tank won't do good off tank things, you have to go do good off tank things.
Ready for battle.
Is your diva doing good off tank things? Is she?
5, 4,
No.
3, 2.
So there, if your diva's gonna just hang out here, what do you feel like you should play? Why don't you give me a guess of where you think you should play, since you're sort of since I know you're in chat here. Like, you could go, hey, if my diva's gonna be here, which is weird, maybe I hold here. Maybe I hold here. Maybe I hold here. What do you think? Yeah, the problem is you're just not good enough. Like, if you feel the need to... No, not flank their spawn. Blah is lying to us. We are not Team Selfless Reincarnated. So... If you don't trust your other tank and you want to hold main, you kind of need to pick Orisa or Reinhardt. Like, you kind of do, unfortunately. Left side of statue, above theater to start. So... over here. Yeah, this is fine. This is fine if this is what you're referring to. That's fine. You can retreat over to here and do your work here as well. Those would be good. Those would be better than just being here. If you're going to be here, you better be playing Orisa or Reinhardt. Or, if you're here, your diva better be here. Your hog better be here, etc. Okay.
1. Attackers incoming. Lights out. Defend objective A.
Oh, you probably meant over here. Yeah, you can be over here, but you've got to be about where your diva is. And your diva's now taking a spot, so I can live with it. You two are sort of off-angling for each other, so I'm going to live with it.
Barrier in place.
Don't overpay attention to the ball. We're going to pay some attention to the right? Okay, we saw the Reaper used Wraith, so Reaper.
Retrieving the barrier.
So you have to make a decision. Do you think you can get out, or are you just going to go stall the point for a little bit longer? No, you can't split the difference like this. I don't mind if you just walk 2 points. I also don't mind if a second and a half ago you just said, nope, I'm out, etc. I do mind this. I'm going to start to go forward and then I'm going to back up thing. Your team is not getting back into this. They've already half capped it, and you're down both of your supports. You're not getting back into this. You're not backing off, regrouping, and pushing back in. So this was a second and a half ago either a I'm out, or it was a I'm full in and I'm just going to go to point, etc. Or, I'm going to get very close to point, and then once this person gets off point, I'm going to touch point, etc. But it's not I start to go forward, then I go back, etc. No, because now you're not contributing to stalling point. No, we don't want this. Now that's just more HP that you're feeding them. Are you going to get out? You shouldn't. They should push up and get you. Okay. That would not have happened in a higher level game, I promise. Let's do our cute little bounces. Have you checked to make sure that you have your 6th back? No, your diva's back there. Okay, so this is aggressive. Given that your 6th isn't back, this is aggressive. You probably need to be back here, where you can, pelt, and if they actually start closing in, back off further, because your diva's still a bit away, and if they choose to come out and take this fight, because they've been tracking when they got eliminations in the kill feed, etc., you guys aren't going to have a pretty time.
Observe the barrier.
Like, this is a great choke. This is a fantastic choke. One of the hardest ones to break in the game, but only if you have 6 people. You don't always get to use this choke. It is not a given that when you get to second, you'll get to use this choke as defense. Good.
Barrier unstable.
You actually closed that too hard. As you were closing it, you saw your diva was diving her, which means you did want to re-peek it to try and help contribute the shots to it, but that's okay.
Elementary application. Barrier won't hold
Okay.
together.
Close the angle. It's fine. Pull it back. Pull it. You won't be able to. Nice! Nice! Easy rock. You know exactly where that ball is going to land, right? Easy rock. Rocking ball is generally worth. Yes, that one has a giant adaptive shield. Generally worth. Good habit to be in. Card's been moving forward as you guys have been losing the fight. You're going to try. You have decent positioning. I can live with it. Okay, there's beat. That's fine.
Barrier is about to break.
I don't think your team can follow up on it. This again, like conceptually I was going to live with it, but it still has to be executed better.
Barrier is about to break.
They're already out. They're gone. The only thing you see is a Pharah. Like you can't use this ult here. Okay, so you end up going over there. Your team's never going to be able to follow up on it. You catch a ball that you'll throw 2, maybe 3 balls into. Yeah.
Stardust to stardust.
Yes, yes. Ball is generally worth using your rock on. If you're confident you can hit him with it, he's worth stopping. Okay, so just leave. Just leave. Maybe press shift to help your diva get out, but just leave. No, you don't want to be here. You don't want to be here. You don't! The cart is moving, and you are getting staggered. Why do you insist on not getting staggered when I tell you you're getting staggered? Obviously, there's no actual reason you should have gotten away from that Reaper there.
Tactical visor activated.
Okay. You're going to push because you're up 1 and you're visoring. This is good. I like this. Pressure from here. Yep. Fight the Moira. That's fine. It's going to be tough, but I believe in you. Yeah, that's unfortunate. You had to back out. Oh, good stuff.
Impact.
Zarya's there. You're going to push here. Good. You do need to turn and deal with this Reaper. Good.
Activating the barrier.
Heroes never die.
Okay, they're not hard winning on this. You can continue to contest this. I don't like how much the card is honestly moving in your losing fights. Yeah.
What a curious feeling.
You like backed up first, so your team backed up, and then you went deep for an ult that your team, even if you had cut someone, would not have been able to catch because it would have lifted them over here. Like that, you baited your team there. You're like, no, I'm gonna back. Now I'm gonna go back in, etc. Well, your team backs. Your team is gonna be. It's just the nature. Like whether you're telling them, whether you're doing it, they're going to be a little late following whatever you do because they're not in your brain. So like if you retreat, they're gonna be late to start retreating, even if you come back. Well, they're reacting to the fact that you started retreating. We need to work on your fluxes.
Stardust to stardust.
Okay, angles were still a problem. The bigger problem that's developing is your flux usage. Remember, we want to use flux early in a fight when it's still like a 6v6, 5v5 type situation. We have to use it when our team is going to be able to contribute, when our team is going to be able to do work, though. We can't go flux way past our team. This is not the only time it happened, and we want to prioritize taking down the squishies, specifically squishies that could stun you out of it, like McCree. We want to watch for things like McCrees, hogs, etc., people that have things that could cancel our flux. So we want to hit our fluxes in places that our team can be part of the follow-up like we would with a grab. We don't count on doing all of the work with the flux ourselves. If we do, that's great, but we want it in places where our team can do work. Yes, flux is also nice for taking high ground. Like if you flux, you can then finish up here. Usually Sigmas can't get up here. You can get up here. Usually Sigmas can't get up here. And that solves our off-angling problem with our other tank quite nicely. Okay. Uh-huh.
Ready for battle.
Mm-hmm.
Ready
Mm-hmm.
Observe the barrier.
Nope,
for
too fast.
defend objective A.
That's a Reaper.
Experiment.
Did you tell someone there was a Reaper here? Or someone following you? Yeah, you have a Mercy. Okay. So again, looking at your comp, you're set up with a Junkrat Echo. They're set up with a Reaper Lucio Moira. I don't want to brawl with this comp. Yes, you have the Reinhardt now, but I still want to poke the bejesus out of this comp rather than take brawl with these guys. That's scary. They have a Lucio Moira Reaper. Like, no, I'll just poke this until I've got a significant lead, thank you. Well, that sucks. He's just gone, and there's nothing you can do to save him. Like, go deal with this Reaper instead. Frick.
Like Newton.
Okay. Okay. I'm glad you dealt with the Reaper. And now you're protecting him with Shift. You were doing overtime to help this guy. Okay. And he's going to insist on doing it again. Okay, so we're going to pressure the Moira now. Okay. Okay, turn. The Lucio's gone. Deal with the ball. Nice. Shenanigans. Shenanigans is how our Rhine lived, but we're gonna be okay with that because he's our Rhine.
Activating the barrier.
10 seconds remaining.
So Rhine doesn't have Shatter, and you know that because our Rhine has pinned him 3 times.
Heroes never die.
Okay.
Everything is falling into place.
It's fine. I'd have liked that to knock it off because I'd have liked you to rock him when he was in the extremely predictable part of his arc, which was right here as he was swinging across, but that's okay.
Objective A captured.
Watch to make sure someone has cart. Doesn't have to be you. Doesn't have to be you. I would like you to go take the off angle. Your echo's fine. You can protect. Good. Go take the angle. Go take the angle. The angle. The angle. The angle. I want the angle. Okay.
Barrier's about to break.
My comp has a McCree and an Echo. Excuse me. My comp has a McCree and an Echo and a Mercy. Their comp has a Reaper and a Moira. I don't want you up here. I don't. I don't want you up here putting yourself in range of their Reaper, their Reinhardt, you know, their Lucio can come on. Like, they're scary. They're scary. I want you over here, and if they even so much as look at you funny, they make funny movements towards you, you retreat back to your team. That's what I want. And if you take space, you just go, oh, hey, that was, that was nice. Our team got through the choke, etc., etc. And now I'll just slide up to here, and I'll do the same thing from here. And if they even so much as look at me, I'm with my tail between my legs going back to my team. They don't have any ults yet. You just use duplicate. Fine. Take the fight. Okay. Totally fine to hard take the fight now, but why are you flexing? Why are you flexing? I know you can't see all of this. You won't see the health bars until you've damaged them, etc. But you took down their Rhine. You used duplicate. They've been getting crushed. They don't have ults. You might not know that they don't have ults yet. It's gold. I get it. Ult tracking isn't going to be wild. But, like, you're winning this fight hard. So when I'm talking about, hey, I want you to poke until they're soft, you can poke them until they're soft or until they force the fight, etc. But you need to have a feeling for when a team is soft or not. And this team is very soft at this point. You don't need to be ulting in. You can still ult in when you've poked a team down to being soft, etc. if they're better in the brawl than you and you're like, hey, they're still dangerous to us, etc. But you want to try and finish this map. You want to roll your ults, chain your ults, etc. You don't want to ult out. Like, if this was a, hey, we need to win one more team fight because we're attacking last and this is how far they got it, that's fine. But you need to keep chaining together wins to get to the end of the map here. That's what you need to do, because you don't know how far they're going to push it, but you do know they're going to have a pretty serious time bank to push it during. So we need to be rotating, or else we can't overinvest like this. And this is, you know, not the first time you've overinvested ults.
What is that melody?
Good. Well done. Nice shot. Cart doesn't move all that fast. You can go here, and they're fine. Okay. I'll slide up to here. You have a Reinhardt now. No reason for you not to be on these off angles. I know it's scary, it's overtime. If you leave the cart, maybe everyone will leave the cart and then you'll lose, etc. But you gotta take the off angles. You gotta. You can then retreat to the cart if you start losing people.
Barrier won't hold together. My barrier is destroyed. Barrier is unstable. Barrier no longer exists.
You didn't try to bounce? I'm surprised we didn't see you try to bounce shots off that, but okay.
Unfortunate.
Okay. And you can just immediately. Yes, correct. That's, you rushed at a mechanics thing, but immediately pressing it wasn't wrong. Ooh! Ooh! So close. Take your angle. Take your angle. I promise it's correct. I promise you have plenty of people here. Taking your angle is correct. I promise. You can deepen the angle. It'll be great. And if they press you, you just go, oh, that's fine. I have a health packer. Oh, that's fine. I'll take a less deep angle. The angle. See, if this Reinhardt had to think about you pelting his team over here, your Reinhardt might have been able to hit his shatter. It would be great. But how do we end never-ending team fights? I think we just did a video on this. Oh! And one of the people that you know is a regular, it's almost like these are in there, etc. But hey, okay. Enough plugging my own videos.
Step right up.
Target destroyed.
Heroes never die.
Fine. At this point, you just try to farm up damage, get another flux, make sure you can win with that. Do be aware if the Bastion shows up. Bastion. Yeah, they never swapped up the Bastion. That has everything to do with you not mentally making a note that they, were on the Bastion from the last life. It's just a game sense thing of tracking how long it takes people to come back after eliminations and, your distance from their spawn, etc. Because you were just too far from cover. Okay, good fresh. Very winnable. Very winnable for you guys.
Ready.
So we're still on fluxes, but we're also on off angles. Again, I was more forgiving of the off angles when you had the double off tank and you felt like you had to be the core, though it was still wrong. I'm less forgiving now that you've had a Reinhardt. Like, no, when the Reinhardt is there, even when it's overtime, even when it's scary, because if you leave the cart, maybe everyone else will and you lose, you got to take those off angles because those win you team fights. They are oppressive to play into. And now we have the Bastion, yes.
2, 1. Attackers incoming.
I don't think that's very good, but we have it.
Let's get you back out there.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened, Smitic. And again, you want to keep taking advantage of that, and the way you take advantage of that is you keep killing them, you keep pushing them down, you follow your discords, you do all your work, you take out things like Bastion as soon as they show up, you have good target focus, you have someone calling the targets to keep drilling through them faster, etc. Good. Are you aware of the Reaper? I think you mentally lost track of him. Okay.
This is not the end.
Nice. Meleeing Reapers down feels so good as a tank.
Barrier won't hold together. Need healing. My barrier is destroyed.
Nothing too wild here.
Heroes never die.
Target prioritization stuff, sure. So I don't want you following the Reaper the whole time. I know it's tempting, but I really do want you switching past to a different target and then switching back. And you hear when his Wraith ends. His Wraith makes a noise. So when you stop hearing that noise, you go, okay, now I'm going to switch back, etc. And the sound directional stuff is really good in this game, so you know almost exactly where he is when that Wraith ends. Like, it was just too much time lost waiting on his Wraith to end that could have been spent on other targets.
Nose in the boulder. Barrier in place.
Greetings.
So I like you guys splitting around the statue here. I like this a little less, but I can live.
Get in there. Fire at will.
Sing for me.
We're grabbing them. Our team has sightlines on them. Our Bastion isn't in Bastion form, but we're grabbing them. One of them will Wraith out. We're going to pick up 2 more eliminations off of this. I just don't see why we're lifting. Like, we don't need to combo these ults. These are ults that I would very much like staggered in separate team fights, not together. But you did lose your Zarya, so I can understand what you're doing. I don't think you needed this.
Barrier out of existence.
Damage increased.
I might be wrong. Yikes.
Stream engaged.
Good effort.
Freeze! Don't move.
Barrier won't hold together.
Okay.
I'd rather not.
Clara reporting.
Haven't we done this before?
Objective lost. Stop the payload.
You're too early. There's many of them looking at you, and it's basically just you here. Even though you have high ground, they can poke at you harder than you can poke at them. Just leave. Nope.
Barrier in place.
Nope. No. Your team is not ready to be threatening. Okay, you're gonna shift. Fine. Why would you drop?
What's that
Why?
equation again?
Why would you drop? You were protecting your Bastion. I thought that was the whole point of you being early.
I am ready.
60 seconds remaining.
Holy victim.
Go to sleep.
Nice bounce. Got it. You didn't mean to drop. Okay, that's fine then. As long as you know what you want to do, I don't mind if you mess it up.
Enemy contact. Name.
30 seconds remaining.
So this is one of those situations where I would like you to push up and potentially take this angle. It does become more punishing. It does become, hey, we've got this, etc. I can live with you back here. That's fine. But this is a pretty rough choke, even with your Bastion back here. Okay.
Barrier in place.
Heroes.
10 seconds.
Bitte die Verse. Sing for me.
Fire at will.
Barrier unstable.
How do you not win here? They've got a blade that's no longer protected by the beat. Are they going to pick up another one with the blade? No, they're not.
Won't hold together.
It's unfortunate. This is your team peeling back from a fight that they didn't need to peel back from. It's a little bit on you. You're trying. You're trying to protect him with your barrier. Okay. So this is fine. We'll go. We'll keep playing it out. Genji's clearly walking at the Bastion. We know what's coming, but, you know, this is hindsight. This Bastion pulling out deflect. We're not rocking him yet. We're still not rocking him. We're throwing other shots. We're still not rocking him. Now we're rocking him and it's too late. So, okay.
To me. Nerve them that my barrier is destroyed.
You're too far out in the open. You don't have shift. You only have 100 barrier. You needed to be back here. I'm not sure why you went back this way. You needed to be here so that you could further close this angle, or you needed to go up to cart ages ago and just go down on cart. But that was an ages ago decision. Again, that should have been like a back here decision. This is free space they got without you taking another team fight. And we saw this on your first defense too, where you're just surrendering space, going, oh, I'm going to surrender space, I'm going to surrender space, I'm going to surrender space. And that's okay if you're getting something out of that space. You're poking them hard, you're getting a lead, and then you're going to be able to take a team fight. But I didn't see a ton of that happening. I saw a lot of, surrendering space and not particularly slowly.
This is not your house. Heroes never die.
It's fine. The checkpoint's irrelevant. It just moves the spawn closer. It's not totally irrelevant, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, you still have flux. You also have 5 people, which sucks. But if you coordinate this well, you can do it.
Playing again.
Like, you can reliably do this with 5 if you only need to remove them from the cart. Just go down. That's fine. You're going to get one more. And you're going to be able to use Barrage, which is unfortunate. I hope Zarya swaps, but she won't. Oh, and this is going to cause your tank to come out at the wrong time. Ugh, yuck. Yeah. Okay. You guys win that if you don't lose a person. You probably win that if your Zarya has swapped to ball and just contested. You and Bastion come out and ult at the same time. All sorts of good stuff. But okay. If we talk about your play, I really, really can't stress enough how important it is for Sigma to take off angles. It matters a lot. And again, we covered this. You weren't really doing it. I understand why. You got to do it. The why isn't a good enough reason not to be doing it. If your other off tank isn't taking off angles, you got it. If you have a Reinhardt, you gotta, etc. And then your fluxes. There's a lot more value you can be getting out of your fluxes. Most of that is going to come from judgment of when to use it. You can say, oh, but Temporal, your judgment of when to use it is wrong because at this level, fights aren't won as cleanly as you think they are, etc. And you're right. You're right. I'm used to fights being won more cleanly, etc. And you're right. I expected that you didn't need to flux into the grab there, and that didn't work. You're still going to want to calibrate, even if it's not where I'm calibrated, to a place that's a little tighter in terms of your when to use flux window there. Where, hey, you don't want to flux into a fight where it's a 6v5 and they don't have their Moira and their other support is a Lucio. That team is going to fold if you so much as I breathe on it heavily might be a slight under exaggeration, but that team is going to fold. You can rush into it, etc. You can open with it, but it's got to be an open after your team fight is committed. You shouldn't be like, hey, I'm opening when my team is a million miles away. It should be my team is here, and now that my team is here, we've moved in, we've closed the space, our teams are meeting for their brawl, and now I'm fluxing. Or my team has a deep concave on them, my team has set up some nice aggressive angles, and now I'm going to flux. You want to use your flux after it's going to cost the opposing team something serious to get out. Like, it can't be, oh, it's going to cost them cools to get out, but they're a million miles away, so them not having their cooldowns doesn't matter. It has to be like they're in, and if it costs them their cooldowns to get out, your team is going to get to pursue with meaningful cooldown advantage and win, and it's going to be easy for them to do so. Or your team has steep angles, on the team. All that is what you're looking for. So I can probably find a nice window for a good flux to better illustrate this. How's this fight? Let me get situated. You're both down 1. Are you down more than 1? Are they down more than 1? So this is a situation where if you had flux, again, we have to change a couple factors, but if you had flux, you could potentially go for a flux on this backline setup back here. and that would be perfectly reasonable. It's not amazing because your Bastion's under some serious pressure right here, but this is a 5v5. Both teams are in it pretty hard. Like your Bastion's here, you're here, your team's here. Where's your fifth? Where's your Pharah? Your Pharah's still on the way back, so that's not great. I bet we can find a better one. I wasn't in love with it. Oh, you understand. Okay. Then I'm probably going on too much here, but maybe I'll find one. Beginning of the round, maybe? As my chair sinks.
3. Ready for
Perfect. We
battle.
should be able to get one reliably here. Even though no one has ults, it'll give us what we need it to.
2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
So, the thing is Mei used wall here. If we pretend Mei didn't use wall here, this would be fine. Because if we fluxed here, this is the situation where, hey, even if these guys aren't totally locked into the fight, their team is pretty locked into the fight. So even if I just go in here with my flux and get one elimination, my team is then also going to do pretty significant work on one or the other of these guys. This is what a committal looks like. And your Mei hit the high value ability at the right time of their committal. So this is the type of moment that you want to hit a flux at. And you say you get it, so I won't find more examples. That was just, an example because, hey, we had it there, etc. Cool. If you have any more questions, certainly let me know. You know how to reach me. You can ping me, etc. For the rest of you, if you have questions, comments, throw them in the comments. You know the drill. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that definitely helps me out. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below. And through there, you can see what my rates look like. You can become a part of the community, see when we've got promotions going on, all sorts of cool stuff like that. No problems there. And that's what I've got tonight. Thanks, guys. Temporal out.